All right, hello, wine drinking people. We are back. It's still Wednesday, the 30th of March. Just one more day left in this month. Man, it's amazing how fast this year is moving. Well, you know, I just got back from my trip, and maybe people haven't heard I'm back yet. I don't know, but only one supplier stopped in the store yesterday, so it's going to be kind of short what I drank yesterday. But we did have an event at the store last night, a private event, the Movers and Shakers. And we'll go through the wines that we had with them. That's what we got here on the table. And, you know, first up, let's see who we had in yesterday. A small company, Tito Italia, which specializes in just Italian wines. Man, there's 460 plus distributors in the state of Florida. And I like to deal with little guys that specialize in certain areas. Like these guys have brought me some very interesting wines. Probably the finest Lambrusco that I've ever had. All right, that may be like saying it's the best white Zinfandel that I've ever had. But still, Lambrusco is a wine that they do drink quite a bit of in Italy. And, you know, here at Riuniti, Lambrusco is kind of what turned a lot of people on to Italian wines, but not considered a fine wine by most people. But the first wine that they stopped in, the Rivetto Barolo from Serralunga. Wow, this is a really nice little bottle of Barolo. As you've heard me touting this 2006 vintage before, a classic vintage for Barolo. And this wine had all those classic Barolo notes, dried flowers, rose petals. This is a small company that was born in 2002, close to the town of Alba. Some classic black tar in there, red cherry liqueur-like fruits. A really lovely bouquet, just filled with flowers and spice nuance. And then a big Barolo on the palate with lots of that red cherry liqueur-like fruit on the tongue. A host of tannins and spice showing up on the finish. Man, this wine had wonderful acidity, a bit chalky on the finish, but it's an '06 Barolo, man. It's still a baby. Great stuff. This wine just needs some time. All the right stuff here. Excellent juice. All right, next up we had a wine from Colli di Friuli, which is from the north there near Alto Adige, and this is a great area for white wines. They call Sauvignon Blanc just Sauvignon there, so they leave out the Blanc. Kind of interesting, but it's the same grape, Sauvignon Blanc. Petrussa is the name of the winery, and this one's 100% stainless steel fermented, very aromatic, a lot of that crisp, fresh cut grass and fresh herbs in this wine that you get in Sauvignon Blancs. Lovely grapefruit and papaya citrus. A little lemon coming through there also. Really fresh and zingy on the tongue. A good hand of that herbs and fresh cut grass also showing up on the finish with a light salty and kind of minerally note. Really nice little bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. All right, next up we had a Pinot Bianco from the same producer, Petrussa. And this wine had a little more Asian pear and apple, lemon citrus, kind of some white floral notes and wet stone minerality on the nose. A lovely texture on the tongue, skim milk with a nice amount of that pear and apple fruit showing up with a zingy kind of acidity and some nice mineral notes showing at the end. A really nice little bottle of Pinot Bianco also. All right, next up we had a rosé. So we started with Barolo and ended with rosé. Kind of the exact opposite, opposite direction you would normally go with the tasting. But hey, if all the wines are good, it doesn't matter if you show the best one first. Rosé last? All right, well, anyways, this is one from the south, from Campania, Vesuvius. The Mount Vesuvius, the volcano down there, I guess is what they're referring to, Vesuvio. La Crema Christi, the Tears of Christ. And this one is Piedroso, 90%, and 10% Aglianico, the great red grape of the south. Had this lovely, distinctly earthy, kind of plowed rock and minerality, wild strawberry, light red berry fruit showing up. Nice richness on the tongue with a fine amount of that red strawberry fruit showing all the way to the finish with balanced acidity, bone-dried, some lovely floral notes. A nice little rosé. One of my picks of the day from this portfolio, especially for the money. But, you know, even though it's dreadfully hot here in South Florida, we still do not do a lot of rosé. All right, next up, a small group called the Movers and Shakers. That's right, folks. We've got this lovely room here at the Wine Watch. We can accommodate up to 20 to 25 people in a standing, mingling type atmosphere. If you've got a group of professionals and you like to stop by the store and do, you know, a wine tasting type themed evening, man, that's one of the things we do. We rock and we party with wine almost every single night of the week. And like I said, this was an unplanned event. And what we did was kind of a tour of some of the greatest wine regions on earth, some of the best values we have in the store. We've got this '06 Bourgogne Pomerol. This is a victim of the Chateau and Estates fallout, the largest importer in the United States of America. Just decided to get out of the Bordeaux business and liquidate all their inventories. To be able to sell a great Pomerol like this from a good vintage for $23, man, this wine is a steal. Check out the reviews on that, on this offer. Next up, we had the I don't see it on here. The Dehesa de la Grana, the little wine from Castilla y León, from Alejandro Fernandez, 100% Tempranillo. Really lovely wine, thick cherry and wild strawberry fruit, lovely flowers, a hint of that raw steak showing up there also, some big tannins, a really nice little value at $14 and change. All right, the Sequoia Grove Cabernet. Well, we just had Michael Trillo in on Monday night, so I figured, you know, what the hell, we should show this wine, and it is one of the best values coming out of Napa Valley at $29.75. However, we didn't open it up soon enough at the end of the night. The very end of that bottle, it was really starting to show nicely. These 07s really need a little time to develop a great vintage from Napa Valley. $29.75, one of the best values in the store as well in the Cabernet section. All right, and then you know how I feel about Barolo, baby. Barolo is how you end the evening. The biggest wine on earth, or one of them, the Vigna Raoul from Rocche de Manzoni, and this 1999, a classic vintage, still a baby, has a lot of that lovely kind of dried rose petal, tar, and lovely exotic spice to it. Still showing some tannin on this wine. This is another one you could decanter for a while, and hey man, the party never ends here at the Wine Watch. Not as long as I'm here. We ran out of wine, so I opened up a bottle of 96 Bricco Manzoni. This is 80% Nebbiolo, 20% Barbera. This wine is a little gem. The 96 vintage is drinking beautifully right now and has all those classic Barolo notes, a little bit of black spice, tar, of dark cherry, and that lovely, soft, smooth, velvety tannin, which you get from Barolo that's 15 plus years old. I'm sorry, it's not Barolo. It's a Super Piemontese blend, but 80% Nebbiolo. Hey, Angelo Guy has been putting Barbera in his Barolo for years, well before 1996, and nobody knew any different. All right, folks, that's what I had to drink yesterday. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.